Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. This week we are going to revisit a deck that I've played in the past, though I don't think I've ever done it for a Friday Night Magic. I think I just did some gameplay throughout the week, and that is Mono Red Eldrazi. I've made a few very minor changes. We'll go over the deck list quickly, and as always, the deck list will be in the description below if you would like an easier to access layout for it. But without further ado, we are running 2 Lightning Axes, 3 Runed Servitors, 2 Eldrazi Mimics, 2 Warping Wail, 3 Spatial Contortion, 2 Eldrazi Obligator, 3 Vile Aggregate, 3 Thopter Engineer, 2 Matter Reshaper, 3 Fiery Temper, 2 Pia and Kiran Nalaar, 2 Thought-Knot Seer, 2 Reality Smasher, and the change to the deck is adding 2 Endbringers, which are very nice at the top of our curve. It is 5 and a colorless for a 5/5 that untaps during each other player's untap step. We can tap it to deal 1 damage to a creature or player, pay a colorless and tap it, and target creature can't attack or block this turn, and for 2 colorless and tap it, we can draw a card. We are also running Chandra Flamecaller. The mana base is 11 Mountains, 1 Wastes, 2 Westvale Abbey, 2 Ruins of Oran-Rief, 2 Drownyard Temple, 2 Foundry of the Consuls, 2 Blighted Gorge, and 4 Evolving Wilds. So without further ado, let's play a few games. Alright, this is a good hand. I'll be keeping this. Warping Wail may do us some good countering a sorcery spell here. Probably a ramp spell looking at what our opponent's leading off with there. Play our mountain and pass back. Alright, Advocate. So Simic colors thus far. Wondering if our opponent is on the Planeswalker train or something else. Ooh, well, looks like we got disconnected there. We will continue to play, and we will go ahead and kill this elf while we have the opportunity. Alright, so red in the deck also. It does look like they may be a straight up Planeswalker deck here. Hopefully we can get a good start and stay ahead of that whole thing. Vile Aggregate should help with that. So we will probably just go ahead and play that. Then Pia and Kiran next turn will make it a 3/5 Trampler. Okay, and there's the other Nissa. Still quite a ways from flipping it, so we probably can't depend on the AI doing something silly like flipping this Nissa and then having to choose between them. I think our plan of Pia and Kiran is still just the right line of play here. And we will swing at Nissa. Try to keep her from going ultimate on us. Alright, doesn't matter how we deal the damage here. It's all amounting to the same thing with the trample. Alright, looks like the opponent may have nothing to deploy here. They could be holding up counter magic or removal of some sort. No? Okay. Well, second main phase Duskwatch Recruiter. They do have the mana to go ahead and activate it, but nope. Just deploying a tireless tracker as well. Well, I would very much like some removal now to deal with a bit of this. Thopter Engineer is an okay draw. We can play either Thopter Engineer or Matter Reshaper. I think I want to play the Engineer. That will make our Vile Aggregate a 4/5. Our opponent could kill it, but it will cost them 2 creatures to do so. And we're going to for sure get through 3 damage on Nissa. I think we'll be swinging with Pia and Kiran as well, because whatever blocks them will also either chump or trade, which I'm happy to do at the moment. We'll swing everything at Nissa. Alright, again, happy to do this. Get both of those card advantage engines off of the table. We still have Warping Wail available and the mana to cast it. Can't really stop that. Sorcery spells only countered with Warping Wail. Okay. I guess getting a counter out of a Planeswalker that's almost certain to be dying is a good idea, maybe? I think we want to kill this girl, so we will do that. We will discard a Warping Wail. And I'm kind of reluctant to play out Matter Reshaper because Radiant Flames could definitely be a thing, and we wouldn't have enough mana up to cast Warping Wail at that point to counter it, so I'm just going to hold it in my hand. And we will continue to swing. This will be the first damage we've done to our opponent's life total, as we were quite busy trying to deal with Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, there for the first few turns. From Beyond is going to generate a bunch of Scions for our opponent. Not really any way in this deck to deal with it, except to just kill the opponent fast enough that this won't be relevant. Okay, well, at least that guy is still small. One more land and it becomes gigantic. That's not a bad draw. We have enough mana. If we wanted to sack a Blighted Gorge, we could do so now. I think I'm going to swing with everything, and if Sylvan Advocate blocks either Thopter Engineer or Pia and Kiran, I will use their ability to do 2 damage to it and kill it. Alright, that looks like it's going to be the case. So we'll say sacrifice an artifact, do 2 here, that's fine, and sack that Thopter. So we're doing 1 less to the opponent, but we're getting rid of Sylvan Advocate before it can become a huge Vigilant 4/5 that will give us lots and lots of headaches. So searching for Drowner of Hope, you are still, however, well, no, you're exactly at mana to be able to cast it, counting your Scion here, I suppose, and it will generate 2 more Scions, so that was a good play. Still, they can only tap us down for so long. Our threats are 1/1 flyers, and that's kind of a bad exchange rate. Okay, Eldrazi Obligator is good here. I think we want to hold off on it for a little bit till more of these Scions are gone. However, we are going to swing with our Thopters. Confirm. And we'll go ahead and play Matter Reshaper here. We could use this Warping Wail to exile one of those Scions at the end of our opponent's turn. Kind of reluctant to do that, though. There's a Sylvan Ranger. Fetching up a land for the opponent. It looks like they are straight Temur colors. Blue, red, green. Natural Connection. Yep. Even if that was a sorcery, I don't think that's a spell that I would want to cast or want to counter with Warping Wail at this point. Right, opponent passing back to us. Draw an Evolving Wilds. We'll go ahead and play and sack that. They're going to tap down our Matter Reshaper. I suppose we'll get another colorless source while we're there. And able to. I still think I'm going to hold this Obligator for a bit. See if they want to tap down our flyers. Don't seem to, so we'll continue to just peck away here. 2 damage at a time. Opponent is up to 9 lands, 11 mana counting the Scions, and the last card in hand is more mana fixing. Alright, so I am debating here whether I want to kill one of these Scions with Blighted Gorge. No, I don't. Alright, no attack from the opponent there. Ruins of Oran-Rief would have been nice a long time ago, but it's here, and so we'll accept it for now. Looks like they're still not wanting to tap down our flyers. I wonder what made the AI want to tap down my Matter Reshaper the last time. Not really sure. And it sacked some Scions for reasons that I can only guess at. Maybe, I don't know. Jeez. Okay, so this should be game here then. Go ahead and kill this Sylvan Ranger. Then we will Obligator to steal the Drowner of Hope. Yes, I would like to pay. Thank you. We'll go ahead. Oh, it's not in play yet. Continue. Go ahead and put a +1/+1 counter on the Obligator. Not that it matters. And I will see you guys in the next one. This is a bit of a slow hand, but I think I'm going to err on the side of keeping it. Maybe wrong, though. Just find it hard to throw back 5 lands when this deck is so mana hungry. Though I guess I should have, since we just drew a 6th. We want to definitely get our waste with this Evolving Wild, since we may be in need of multiple colorless sources. And we are more than good for red mana in our hand, as is. Alright, looks like we're getting Sylvan Advocated again. We do not have removal for it this time. However, we should be able to hold out if the opponent doesn't get too much of a head start on us here. just depending on what they play over the next turn or two. Would be more than thrilled if they're stuck on 2 lands. You guys may hear some kids playing outside in the background, as has been the case for the last few weeks. It's kind of difficult for me to find a time to record that is not subject to children playing outside, as it is summer break. So hopefully that is not too distracting for you guys. Suppose we'll go ahead and play our Vile Aggregate out here first. It's a good wall until we can get it to become an offensive threat. Alright. Mono basic lands from our opponent. So that leads me to believe that they are holding a Grasp of Darkness. So I am not going to be cooperative there. Could be a bluff, and if so, they definitely got me. Did you hit it? No, you are still 1 card type short at the moment. Let's see, what do we do here? We are facing down some big threats on the opponent's side of the board. I think we want to go ahead and Thought-Knot Seer, try to stymie their development if possible. Right, they did have a Grasp, but they also have an Anguished Unmaking and a Reprisal. Huh. Well, what are you... Well, I guess it doesn't matter. If it's an instant you're missing, then you're going to get it done. I suppose I shall take the most versatile removal spell from your hand. I mean, Anguish Unmaking is more versatile, but it also makes them pay 3 life to use it, so that was my reasoning there. Between Grasp of Darkness and Reprisal, I would rather that they are holding the Reprisal than the Grasp. And there's the Reprisal, probably, yep, removing our Thought-Knot Seer. Guess we'll let them draw a card here. Right, not swinging now that they don't have the Grasp with the other 2. Alright. They are still short, so it was not an instant that they were missing. Looks like they need a sorcery or a planeswalker. Or an enchantment, you know. Something along those lines. We, however, want to be playing Reality Smasher, I think. And swinging. Not with you. You stay back to block, please. Right, let's see what our opponent has to deal with this. Killing it will most likely cost them 2 cards. And Mind Rack has done 8 damage to them thus far, so that's good for us. Okay, Eiley, she's Death Touch, so she can block and kill Reality Smasher if necessary, although he will still trample over for 2 damage. Looks like we're in a bit of a race here. Runed Servitor. So I can play multiple things this turn, which I think I want to do. That will allow me to swing with the Thopter, the Vile Aggregate as a big threat, and Reality Smasher. Probably want to hold back Runed Servitor. Let's just play it out there and then consider once I see everything on the field. Runed Servitor. Opponent seems to have some sort of, or maybe not, they unpaused. Okay. So they have to block here. Yeah, I think I'm going to swing with everything. If they block the Servitor, say, with the Sylvan Advocate, and then block Reality Smasher or Vile Aggregate with Eiley, let's say Reality Smasher. Let's say they block with the Sylvan Advocate as well, so that'll soak up 4 damage. It'll be 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we want to swing with everything. Still short, yeah. So if we don't get them on this attack, then Mindrack Demon most probably will on their upkeep. The opponent could absorb 1 more damage, rearranging the blocks just a little bit to put one of the 3 defense guys on Vile Aggregate along with the Sylvan Ranger. But all we need to deal is 3 damage in any case, so it's not going to matter. Though they can sack some stuff to Eiley. And they're still going to be dead. On this guy right here. See you in the next one. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this hand. Let's go ahead and keep this. Wouldn't mind having a Servitor or an Eldrazi Mimic to make it a bit of a quicker draw, but still. Alright, lead off with a Swamp from the opponent there. We will be searching up, well, there's one of the things we wished for. Go ahead and go for a Mountain. So we'll have a decent curve now that we top decked that Servitor. Still need a second Mountain to be able to play Mom and Dad here. And also want to deal with this Jace. We got several ways to do that in hand. Go ahead and Runed Servitor right now. Looks like our opponent may be playing some colorless cards as well, since they played a Crumbling Vestige that turn. So far we know they're black, blue, and colorless. Discarded a second Swamp. And played a third. Sledgecrawler, okay. Kind of an ingest theme maybe here. Maybe trying to play some processors. Well, let's start by swinging with this Servitor. Seeing what our opponent chooses to do. They may choose to block and pump and just trade here. Seems like it may be the case. Alright, well, I think I'm going to contort in response. Got our opponent to spend some mana there. Don't know that it was super relevant. Maybe I should have just contorted and swung for 2 damage. We need to deal with Jace on this next turn, most likely. And there is a Wasteland Strangler. Luckily, we have no cards in exile for them to process with it. Let's see if they are willing to trade their Strangler for our Servitor. And they are. Well, that means that we are going to exile Jace so that he will not be able to flip this turn. Really would like to have a second mountain. We have cards we can play, but getting stalled on mana is how this deck most often loses, which is why I'm running 26 lands in it. Alright, well, let's start with Vile Aggregate then. That resolved. Don't know that I expect it to live too awfully much. The opponent probably has some removal in hand that can deal with it. Okay, Crumbling Vestige number 2. For red? Okay. Just didn't need the mana. We haven't really seen a card that requires colorless mana yet. They're most likely playing Thought-Knot Seers and Reality Smashers, though. Well, there's a land. Not a mountain, though. Still. Let's go ahead and play a second aggregate now. Both to pump this guy up and because they are Languish immune. We take more than just a single Languish to wipe our board. Our opponent would have to do something else. Cruel Revival can kill it, though. Opponent did not have a zombie in the graveyard to bring back with Cruel Revival, so that's at least positive for us. Ulamog's Reclaimer. What's this guy do? A card. Okay, it's a processor. Okay, so it can rebuy instants and sorceries. Luckily, we haven't had anything exiled yet, so that's not going to work too well for us, or on us. Let's play the Thopter Engineer. And then we will swing with just the Thopter. This guy doesn't ingest? No. Good. Alright, holding back on defense here. They're having a little bit more luck with their land drops than we are. Well. I guess we obligate. We will pay. I also would like to use this guy's ability if it will let me. Oh, it's only when it enters the battlefield. Never mind. Oop. We will continue playing. We do have an advantage here, but it's not what I would consider an overwhelming advantage that can't be overcome. Right, got our opponent to 8. Okay, Flesh Bag. We will sack the Engineer. And we finally got a second red. Question is, at this point, do we play Pia and K or Endbringer? I think I want Pia and Kiran. That leaves me the ability to cast Spatial Contortion as well. Right, attack. Confirm. Okay. And we will pump Vile Aggregate, hopefully, for the win here. And it was. Well, that will be it for this episode of Friday Night Magic. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like below. It really does help. Consider subscribing to the channel to be notified when I upload new content. And until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.